You might have seen the news of the protesters in Prairie Land, Texas, being sentenced yesterday to 50 or 70 years on terrorism charges just for staging a noise demonstration outside of an ICE detention facility, aka a concentration camp, last year on July 4th, including one person sentenced to 30 years who was not even there because he was the husband of one of the protesters who was present, and he moved a box of zines. All of this is part of the Trump administration's NSPM 7 memorandum to paint anybody, any dissident, as a terrorist. Their biggest argument came down to one protester, Benjamin Song, who fired a round toward a cop who was staged to shoot an unarmed protester as they were running away from him. So Song fired a round at the ground, it ricocheted and it hit the officer. The officer was fine, the officer has lived. But I wanted to read a little piece of this statement that came out yesterday from Benjamin Song, who has been sentenced to 100 years in prison. When I saw Lieutenant Thomas Gross stop pursuing and point his gun at the back of a running unarmed protester, like he testified, I was terrified. As a firearms instructor and a United States Marine Corps veteran, I understood what I was seeing. I knew what it meant for someone to lean forward into a gun, like he testified, to prepare for recoil. As the evidence shows, I did not want to hurt anyone. I never had the intent to hurt anyone. I tried my best to avoid hurting anyone. It is impossible to say that I was trying to ambush anyone or planning any violence. I was shocked and surprised and saddened. I am so grateful for what didn't happen. I am so grateful that we are not here mourning another death and tragedy. Another Alex Preddy, another Renee Good, another Botham Jean, another Manuel Turan, another Tatiana Jefferson, another Philando Castile. Now, 22 people have been arrested, have been persecuted, have been tortured. For what? For nothing. None of these people really did anything, and none of these people have had anything to do with what happened with me. First, they covered up and hid evidence. Second, they banned every black juror so that no one would question the police. Third, they told me I had no right to protect myself or anyone else, and they told me I wasn't even allowed to say the word self-defense. As you heard at the trial, they tortured their own witnesses. American citizens were tortured and terrorized and medically neglected. 3 men died in jail last week, by the way. And now, a 24-year-old has had a heart attack. A 58-year-old woman said she would die in this case. Mothers, fathers, teachers, students, package workers, programmers, and engineers persecuted and tortured in this case. People are being treated as if their lives do not matter. All of this is bigger than me. I know I am the person standing here, I know I am the person being judged, but I also know that a case like this can become a warning to everyone else, that if you speak, if you protest, if you try to protect someone, if you are associated with the wrong idea, you can be turned into a symbol instead of treated like a human being. Nothing saddens me more than when I think about all of these different people and their different families and communities and how they have suffered and how unfairly they have been treated, just like me. Whatever is taken from me is taken from you. It may be these 22 strangers now, but it will be you tomorrow. On June 9th of this year, the president of the Southern Poverty Law Center testified that hate has migrated into the government. Into the government. The hate is right here. The government, in its secret motion to give me a life sentence, calls me the embodiment of Antifa. What does that even mean? I'm not a member of a group called Antifa. I am not part of any terrorist organization. There is no group called Antifa. Everyone knows that, but this government is so blinded by hate, they've arrested 22 good people for nothing. They want to bury me with an idea. This idea that they hate is the very idea of being against fascism. What kind of people are not against fascism? What kind of people are not against the hate and war and genocide and concentration camps that the Nazis brought upon the world? What kind of people would not agree to no kings and no Führers? The hate has migrated into the government. Now that hate is taking power over me. It is taking power over you, over your words, and your ideas. When will you be called a domestic terrorist too? When they killed Renee Good and Alex Preddy, they went on TV and they called them domestic terrorists the same day, within the hour. When will that happen to you? When I was staying in my home city of Dallas for 11 days, I did fear then I might die at any moment from a government that I think is hateful and vindictive. I did not run because I wanted to escape responsibility. I stayed because I wanted to survive long enough to do the right thing. I don't fear for myself. I fear for all of you. What will you do in this time of great failures and great injustices? What will you do? How will you help each other? How will you help yourselves? This case is just one of many targeting and locking up people for standing against injustice in this country. You don't even have to be at the protest, and you can be sentenced to more time than any January 6er did, more time than rapists do, more time than cops ever would get for killing people, though we know they never serve time. And this judge said from the bench that he was giving out maximum sentences because the state wanted to send a message to anyone who shares the same ideology. That ideology being standing against genocide, against concentration camps, against imprisonment and slavery. When you pair all of this with the surveillance state that they have ramped up over the recent years, especially with Flock on every fucking corner, NSPM 7, this was the big breakthrough to test that, and they're using this everywhere. It's a good time to remember that legal does not equal just, and illegal does not equal unjust. Stay safe and look out for one another.